The minister said Albertans who are seeking mental health addiction services need to know they can access the services they need when they need them at the highest level. But as I said, what I hear from the people who are working on the front lines, on the ground in this system, some for more than 20 years, is that after more than 6 years of the UCP government being in power, people who voluntarily want to seek help, want to go in for treatment, still face waits of up to 6 months to get in. After 6 years, Madam Speaker. Again, that is not the mark of a government that actually takes this issue, this crisis, seriously. Talking with that same contact, who's been doing this street-level work with people who use substances for over 20 years, they told me unequivocally, I asked them directly, have you seen any material change in your ability to get these people help when they need it, when they ask for it? After 6 years of this government, and they told me no. The dial hasn't moved an inch. Let me share the story of one of my constituents. X came to my office and he shared that he called an ambulance for his partner Jay on Family Day of last year, Monday, February 19th, because he was extremely sick. His partner Jay suffered from alcoholism. He tried to get off alcohol without medical supervision. He ended up having seizures. He couldn't walk or stand. His hands were shaking. It took 3 days for Jay to be admitted at emergencies because this government also fails to take the crisis in healthcare seriously. They like to make announcements. They like to take credit. But we have longer wait times in our emergency rooms now than when they came into power. After Jay was admitted, he came back home a week later. No plan was made for him on discharge. The social worker at the hospital wasn't able to suggest anything or make any connections. His partner X didn't get a chance to speak to any doctor at the hospital to ask for advice on how to deal with the situation. Jay had 2 seizures that night. He had to wait a week to get an appointment with his family doctor because, again, this government likes to make announcements and take credit, but they are not making any material difference in actually getting Albertans access to a family doctor after 6 years in power. Instead, they've made it materially worse. 2 months later, 2 months, Jay was able to get into treatment. He was supposed to be there for 3 weeks. His stay was cut short by 4 days, and what Jay told us is it was because it was during the Oilers playoffs, and he was asked to leave early to make room for individuals with addictions who were being taken off the streets to be placed temporarily where there was room. So he was asked to leave detox early. We got an update later that year that Jay was not doing well and had in fact relapsed. And the doctor was trying to get him a shorter long-term detox bed, but there were none available. Instead, they were looking at sending him to BC. And let's be clear, Madam Speaker, this is a gentleman dealing with alcoholism. And we have hundreds of thousands of people who are struggling with fentanyl and other opioids, substance use. Again, who, when they want to get treatment, cannot get it. And this government is talking about laying down a framework now to force people into treatment when after 6 years, they still cannot supply it to people at the standard that the minister himself just stated is his goal, that when people need it and they ask for it, it's available. That's the reality.